Hi guys, so today I thought I would do another rant. You guys really seem to love my rants, and today I thought I'd do one that is pretty close to home, but it's not as like fun as like some of my other ones. It's more of like a angry rant. I do have a lot of other rants coming up soon, but I thought I'd just do this one today because why the heck not? Okay, so if you couldn't already tell from the title, this is a ghosting rant. And if you don't know what ghosting is, then you can read my whole blog post about it. I kind of did like a rant blog post about it, so I'll link that below. Ghosting is the act of just kind of not talking to someone. So it's kind of like giving someone the silent treatment, but worse, in my opinion. I've dealt with this a lot, and I just find it really disrespectful and rude. And if you guys have ever dealt with this, then please like let me know in a comment if you agree with me on this. Let me know if you've ever done this, because I don't know, I just feel like sometimes I can get it. Like sometimes in certain circumstances I get why ghosting is like required, but for the circumstances that I've been in, I don't get it. Like, it's so disrespectful and rude and just like a waste of your time. I think it's worse than someone being honest or even lying and like saying something to you. It's just really, really bad. So I guess I'll share some of my experiences. I just feel like ghosting is the worst thing you can possibly do to someone. I wish it was such a ridiculous term. Like, I wish I could just say like ignoring someone, I guess, but it's just so rude. And anyone who's dated, especially now in like the current like digital era or whatever, like we have phones, which is so much easier. I guess I mean, I don't know what dating would have been like without phones, because I wasn't old enough to like do that when I was younger. But I feel like ever since like now all you do is text, you know what I mean? Like you could be dating someone and not see them for like a week, but it's fine because you're literally talking every day, but then they ghost you. And I think that that's just so disrespectful. Like you can't just say to someone like, by the way, I'm not interested anymore. Like, why is that so difficult for someone to say? And I put a lot of this in that blog post, and it's probably a bit more organized there than I feel like I'm probably gonna say it in this video. But I just find it to be like such an odd thing to do. Please, if you've done it, let me know what your reasoning was, because I want to argue with you and tell you that it wasn't a good reason. The way I've ghosted someone, although I wouldn't even consider it that, would be if I was dating them for a very long time, it was really a dysfunctional relationship. If someone's like stalking you and like won't stop, you know, texting you and calling you and like being crazy, you might just need to cut yourself off. You know, at one point in my life I was dating someone and it was pretty dysfunctional and it wasn't working out, and like we would just like reach out to each other once or twice a month, and like it was just getting really ridiculous. We never talked every day though. We never thought that we were like getting back together. It was just like a dysfunctional situation, and I knew that I needed to move on from that in order to move on with my life and like be less of like a crazy person. I just stopped texting him completely, which wasn't, I don't think, as much of a shock as it is when you're talking to someone every single day, but I needed that like couple of months of like no communication in order to move on. And I think in that kind of situation it's acceptable, or even not. I think I might even have said at some point like, listen, I don't think that we should talk for a while because I really need to just move on from like whatever this is. And I think that that's something that you can just say to someone if they don't understand it, and they don't understand it, but you explained what you were doing. That makes sense. And I think that a lot of people want to avoid confrontation, but I think we're avoiding confrontation enough by just not being in person. We're not in person face to face with someone, seeing them cry or get upset. And I think a lot of guys definitely don't want that confrontation, don't want to have to deal with like explaining themselves, but like you don't really have to have a full-on conversation. You don't have to have like so much closure. I feel like a lot of times ghosting, I mean, sometimes it is from a relationship. Like you could literally be dating someone, you can call them your boyfriend or something, and then they ghost you, which I think is just unbelievable. It's kind of like breaking up with someone over text, but worse, because you're not actually doing the breaking up. You're being a coward and not saying anything. I don't think there's any real excuse for that. And I think when you're not dating yet, but you're on the track to start dating, I find that just also to be very rude, because someone is getting excited to hear from you. I feel like usually, especially nowadays with the way that dating is, which is all over text and stuff like that, we text people so much. And like when I first start dating someone or talking to them before even going on a date, we have like a nice conversation going. Like we definitely are texting every day and just like getting to know each other before we go on a date to make sure it wouldn't be completely awkward or horrible or something. It's kind of just to build up trust before you meet someone, especially if you met them on like a dating app or like you just didn't know them very well. When you're texting someone like that and you're sharing things that are more personal and you're not just like joking and flirting, it's definitely very rude and disrespectful to do that. And I think it's just such a coward move, whether it's a girl or a guy doing it. I'm not saying guys are the only ones. I just personally haven't dealt with like a girl doing that. And I had a circumstance about, not even a year ago, I guess, where I was talking to someone, and I didn't say we'd be talking a little over a week. I know it doesn't sound very long, but it's not like we were randomly chit-chatting. Like we were video chatting and talking a lot, like constantly every day. Like when you're talking for that much, you get to know each other and like you're really like opening up. And like I have a lot of trust issues, so when I talk to someone, I don't like to hold back necessarily, just because I feel like if you don't take a risk when it comes to dating, when are you going to take a risk? Like if you want to get a relationship out of something, you shouldn't hold back. So I don't really hold back, but I also have a lot of trust problems. So even though I'll like put myself out there, I kind of always expect to get hurt, or expect someone to ghost me, or expect if I did start dating this person, they're gonna break up with me. That's kind of just like my thought going in, which isn't great. I just have a negative expectation, which isn't good, but like just with my experience, that's just the way it always went. So I'm not surprised when it happens. Like I've kind of built up a barrier so that when it happens, I just kind of like don't get upset. So I don't get hurt from it anymore. I just get angry and like annoyed that people out there do that, and it makes me just so frustrated, I guess, because I think that someone who's putting themselves out there and, you know, risking their feelings and things like that deserves explanation. Like I deserve to know why this person stopped talking to me. Like why are you beating around the bush? Why are you trying to like slowly get this person to realize you don't want to talk to them? Why don't you just say it? That's what I don't understand. Like I've always been a very like forthcoming person, and I've been very blunt. I'm blunt on my channel, blunt on my friends. Like I always tell the truth about things like that, you know, even if it's not something someone wants to hear, like I'm just gonna say it. And I had a guy talk to me, I want to say last summer, and he seemed to like me for some reason. We didn't know each other very well, but he seemed to be like really pushing hanging out and stuff, and I was just like really not into it. So I flat out said like, listen, I'm really sorry, but I'm just really not interested in you like that. And I laid it all out, and he was upset about it, and he thought I was leading him on, and although I didn't picture it that way, so he sent me this like long massive text message like kind of explaining how he felt, and like part of me was like rolling my eyes about it and like kind of annoyed. But then I thought, okay, well listen, if I was in his situation, which I have been, like where I was talking to someone, I really thought they liked me, and then all of a sudden they weren't interested, like I would have wanted to hear from it, and I would have wanted that communication about it and like that closure. So even though we only talked for a few days, I gave him that explanation, and when he asked me questions, I responded because I thought he deserved that. Like yeah, maybe I didn't think I was leading him on, but he obviously did, and he wanted those answers, so I gave them to him, and he wasn't being like crazy or anything. Like if he was, I probably wouldn't have answered if I felt like, you know, in danger or something, but he was just like hurt, and I got that because I've been in that situation plenty of times, and I just want an answer. If I'm not being crazy, I'm not asking a million questions and like saying who is this person you're talking to if you're talking to someone else. Like I just want to know, like tell me what I did or what the reason is. And I was talking to him, a different person. I thought we were getting really close, we were like making plans to hang out and stuff, and then all of a sudden out of absolutely nowhere, like silence, not a word, nothing. I liked him, so when he wasn't responding, I didn't know if he was just busy or something, so I texted like once or twice, nothing like major. I was like, oh my god, where are you? But you know, just I wanted to keep talking. I don't mind like texting first and stuff like that. I try not to avoid like playing games because I just think that's so stupid. I don't understand why people play games. Like try not to do this. Try like if I like someone, I just tell them. And with my trust issues, I just don't see the point of like hiding it. When you're liking someone, you actually want to see a relationship with them. Why hide how you feel? It just doesn't make sense to me. So that's what happened, and then like days went by and no response. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm being ghosted, like, and no response, no explanation, nothing, sorry. And this was someone who before, if he didn't respond for an hour or things like that, then he would apologize. So it really bothered me that like he didn't respond for days and nothing. And I don't really require like apologies for like an hour of not talking, or if you fall asleep texting me, like I could really care less. But then to have nothing for days just felt like being rejected, and that sucks. And I think that it's harder to move on from that kind of situation than it is when someone flat out tells you what's up. When someone flat out says to you like, I don't want a relationship with you, it hurts in the moment. It definitely does. It doesn't feel good. It's a rejection, but you move on faster because you know, okay, this is over. Now I can move on. I can get past it. I understand this is over. But when someone doesn't say anything to you, you wonder and you think, and I still like, even though I'm over these people, I don't really like them and I'm annoyed and I would never date them now just because they did that, still get annoyed that it happened. And I wonder like, so what actually happened, you know? And I think it's unfair for someone to do that. I found with this guy, I confronted him about it and I said, listen, like, we were pretty open with each other, like, so you ghosted me, like that's what happened, and you didn't just give me a reason. And he was trying to tell me there's like different reasons. So apparently he read my blog post about ghosting, and he was trying to tell me like that's not right, like you're being too harsh, like it's not just black and white. But isn't it though? I mean, if anyone who's trying to get a gray out of that black and white situation of ghosting, I think is only the person who would ghost. Like never from my perspective as the person who's getting ghosted would it be okay. He was, I guess, trying to say like you don't want to have a confrontation. Like, are you kidding? That's a coward's move though. Like the way that he was like describing it, I was like, oh, well, what if this happened? What if this happened? But no matter what happened, you can still tell the person. When I found out later that he had been talking to someone else, I was really upset, and I didn't feel like betrayed because we weren't dating or anything like that. But I guess he said that he told me he wasn't talking to anyone else, so it just kind of seemed like, okay, well, you lied right there. But I think that if he had told me, listen, like, because we kind of lived far away from each other, if he had told me, listen, you know, I just met someone else and she lives closer and I'm really starting to like her, like, we could still be friends or like stay on good terms, I would have respected that. You're showing that person respect and saying that I understand that you have feelings and I want to be honest with you. And I think that that would have really kept this guy in a good light for me. You know, I wouldn't have such negative feelings about him. So say things didn't work out with the girl he was talking to down the line, if he wanted to reach out to me again, I would have been a lot more open to it now. If he ever did that, I would have just like, now I just like would be so angry, I guess. And I just find that to be so shocking, like, and that he's trying to make an excuse for himself, like, well, I don't want to have like a confrontation. Like, I think he knew me well enough to know that I wouldn't have taken it so horribly. I would have accepted it and been like, okay, I get that, I really appreciate you being honest. And I think that that's every single time I've said something to a guy, whether he was upset or not, about when I said I wasn't interested, they appreciated the honesty. They were like, well, thanks for not playing games with me, thanks for not leading me on, I really appreciate you being honest. And I think that's amazing. Ghosting is just a way of lying, but worse. I also think that anyone who's too much of a coward to tell you that they're not interested isn't worth your time. So this is also kind of like a public service announcement to girls and I guess guys out there, anyone who's watching this. If you like someone and you're talking to them or texting them and they're not texting you, yes, there's a small chance that maybe they're trying to play hard to get and they don't want to come off like too intense or that they like you too much, but I think majority of the time in a situation like that, they just aren't interested and it sucks and you wonder why, but you have to kind of just move on from it and look for someone who is worth your time, who appreciates what you're putting out there. I don't really know what else to say. Read that blog post if you want to hear something that makes a bit more sense. I really love talking about this kind of stuff. It's like dating, relationship stuff. So if you guys want more advice videos, if you have like specific questions about dating or anything, I'd love to do a video on something like that. And thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this, please give it a big thumbs up and send this off to anyone, please, who has done that, who has ghosted you, or you know who ghosts people if you find it to be disrespectful like I do. Also, you can send out that blog post to anyone. I just find this to be like an epidemic and it needs to stop. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you guys in my next video.